The moment my son is born, I'm only going to treat him and condition and train him as a young developing man. I'm never going to treat him as a baby or a boy. I'm going to treat him as an equal. I'm going to train him to be energetically abundant. And I'm going to let him know that he is destined to win and destined to create and succeed and destined to create the future that he deems fit, to be a free thinker, questions everything, and drills down to first principles of base reality of what is true and what is real, that and he comes to his own conclusions. The moment that he comes from the womb, I'm never going to treat him like a baby or a boy. And if you know, you know. The moment a human is born, a person is born, you are literally being trained and conditioned how you're going to operate for the rest of your life. You absorb like a sponge from ages 0 to 7 your operating system network of how you're going to live out your life. You're creating patterns of how you're going to give and receive love. You're building strategies how you're going to survive and thrive in this world. So I will let my son know that he's destined to win, that he creates the future that he deems fit to think for himself. He's born to succeed, and I will always treat him as an equal, make him energetically abundant, overflow him with love, position him in places where he sees that consistent effort and focus yields mastery. And through mastery, you find the discovery of self. And through the discovery of self, you get silence and quiet. Through silence and quiet, you begin to question the truth and reality of this world. How do things work? And you begin to see that you have absolute power over the life that you're building and the future that you are creating and who you decide to be, the identity and story that you continue to repeat to yourself and therefore create out with your actions and behaviors. So I will always treat my son as a young developing man, train him and condition him to be energetically abundant. Because then through that everything happens. Because we are all energetically abundant. We're all overflowing with love. We're all tapped into the source energy, God, the universe. That is our natural birthright. We all have the divine spark within every human cell in our body. But unintentional conditioning, being trained off purpose or not intentionally like building yourself, through that you get everything less. You get the buffering of not being and staying tapped in, of not being energetically abundant, of not overflowing with love, of thinking that you're limited, of thinking that you're not able. The human capacity is what you decided to be. We are all infinitely able because we create the story in our brains. We direct our focus and attention, our consciousness effort, which literally creates the reality that you live in. It ingrains your behaviors and your habits. And the story that you continue to repeat to yourself literally filters the outside world, the outer reality, and creates a pattern of thinking and feeling, which further reinforces behavior, which further reinforces the life that you're living. So my son will only ever know an overflow of love, and he will only ever know being destined to win. He will only ever know being energetically abundant, and he will only ever know that he is able and capable of doing whatever he deems fit. And the moment that he starts to question me and challenges me physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and he questions the basis of this reality of this world, literally everything, then I will know that I have done the right job. If you know, you know. I'm never going to treat my son as a baby. I'm never going to treat him as a boy. I'm never going to position himself where someone else leads him from an unhumble state. And from the moment that he is born, he'll be conditioned and trained to win. He'll be conditioned and trained to lead. He'll be conditioned and trained to be an allocator of his conscious attention, and therefore the amount of abundant energy that he has and the amount of abundant love that he has for himself and the world. Because through that abundant love of self, you abundantly love the world, and then through that you get rewarded with everything that we think that we want, which is power, status, things, love, which we already have. We literally already have it. We already have all of that. We already have all of that. The only reason that you don't feel it is because you're, or myself, it's a human trap. It's a person trap of this life. Is buffering it yourself. Is attaching yourself too much to the story that you have lived out so far. Is attaching yourself to the habits that you have lived out so far. It's projecting your love on the things of this world or on other human beings, not validating yourself, not connecting to self, which allows you to connect to source and see that we are all infinitely tapped in to the abundant source of love and energy. Because when you don't tap into that, when you project things on the outer world and hope for other people or the things of this world to give you that love, being feeling that we all want, that's where fragmentation or habits that just don't serve you happen. Peace, love, and blessings. I'll talk to you next time.